let's decide what should be your opening line for your obituary. He says, what? I says, I get on. Wahaule kapua melia. Fallen is the plumeria. And it was taken from a statement he had just made before that, before I went in the shower. He said, you know, Poka, I guess I identify most closely with the plumeria because the plumeria is not indigenous to Hawaii, and yet it grows and it feeds from the land and it breathes the air. And it is Hawaii. He says, I cannot claim to be an indigenous person, but my citizenship, my heart, and soul is here in Hawaii. Imiola has searched for causes of justice in many different parts of the world. Some places I was fortunate enough to travel with him. Other places I followed him. And there were oftentimes people who would say, hey, you know that Chinese guy from Hawaii? And it inevitably was Mr. Carl Jung, who instigated movements for justice, movements for self-determination in places that I was surprised that he had been so instrumental in. In Guam, he participated, he instigated the burning of the newspapers of Gannett Press because they refused to use the Chamorro language in the newspapers. So they burned the newspaper right in front of the building. And well, there's stories after stories after stories of things that Imiola had done that would, I know, take so much time that I don't want to recall all of the stories. I was at home out at Lua Lei in my yard, way out in Waianae Valley, Lua Lei Valley. I see this long black limousine drive up, and then it turns into my yard. And it tells me we're looking for this guy named Hayden Burgess, also known as Poka. And so he asked me. Now these are government officials from Papua New Guinea. And so they sat and they wanted to talk with me about these struggles of independence, of self-determination. And I said, where are you folks from? Who sent you here? Oh, there's a man named Carl Jung who we met years and years and years ago. And they said that we have to check you out. And it's the same experience when they went up to Ka'ala. Imiola had that ability to mix with the common folks, mix with the highest people of different lands. Not too long ago I had dinner with the representative of the Federated States of Micronesia, the UN representative from Micronesia, with Imiola and with his family and with Hua. So that was Imiola. He could travel in so many different places. When I would go to Switzerland and he would travel with me, of course he was first of all our cook. And he would go out into the markets and look for the vegetables because we were too poor to buy food. We had to take all this saimin, dry saimin, right? And then when we get there, we look for the vegetables, and Imiola would be the cook. But Imiola, because he spoke so many different languages, whenever I would go into a crowd and after that we would meet together, and he would tell me all about the different people and different stuff that was being said because he spoke French, because he spoke Spanish, and he could do his research and his investigation so quickly. Not only that, sometimes he can go back hundreds of years and tell you where the different families came from and how they were connected. And where he was such a fantastic person, a continuing struggler for justice. I don't know what else to add, but I enjoy sharing this view of Imiola that I have been had an opportunity to have. Thank you, James.